welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. This is actually Extra Time for us as well today,
This is
isn't it,
really
Shaq?
extra time.
We've done a very long day of action, but we're happy to be here. Okay, we are also joined by Frank and Robbo as well, and we're happy to have them.
Why are they matching? Why? It's hard enough to tell the difference between you two. You dress the same.
Are you calling them out for the hair?
No, I'm calling them out for the white T-shirt and the black jacket or whatever it is Rob was wearing.
No need for that, is the Shaka?
He's my fashion icon. Anything that Frank can wear, you've got to wear it because he's just a fashion icon.
I understand that. I totally understand. I get that, Robbo. I get that.
Both looking pretty dapper, aren't they? All right. Wesley Furdus says, and I'll come to you first, Robbo. Arsenal, what went wrong? And realistically, how much longer as Arteta as the gaffer?
Let's make it easy. What went right? Let's go and let's make it easier, Robbo.
What went wrong? The two centre-halves didn't defend well enough. That's one thing. Ben White, if you bring him in for £50 million, he's got to be more dominant than he was in the game against Brentford. When they got it into the front areas, in which they did quite a lot, they got it certainly wide to Tierney, who got lots of crosses into the box. There weren't enough players making forward runs. They didn't make good decisions with their final pass. It wasn't a terrible performance in terms of creating opportunities. They had 22 shots. But if you don't defend well enough as two centre-halves and you don't defend the long throw that comes into your box well enough, you're going to lose football games. As to your second question, Arteta's probably got about 10 games. If he doesn't win 6 of those, he's going to be in trouble.
Oh, they're piling in on Arsenal today, are the viewers. Tayassir Ahmed says, Shaka, do you think Arsenal gets relegated?
No. Listen, it's not great that you're losing opening day of the season to a newly promoted team, but no, Arsenal are not getting relegated. I still think Arsenal finished top 6.
But Kane,
7th.
I think people are. I think people are getting very worried right now, and because Shaka is right. You know, the opening day of the Premier League, and everybody is making already statements, and where should give a chance to the products, let's say. But 2 seasons ago, Arsenal ended up 8th in the league. This last year, again, 8th in the league. And we see the first game, and you say, well, if you're an Arsenal fan, you feel that it won't be a good season. And for Arsenal standards, it's not where you want to see them, ended up. So it's why everybody's worried, and they need a reaction very quickly, especially for Arteta.
What are your thoughts on it, Frank? Do you think he's in trouble?
Yes, and I would say sooner than the Robo thinks. I think if we don't see, improvement, the way they defend, but also the way they hold the game, I think I give 3 or 4 more games to Arteta before leaving.
Does that help change your mind, Robbo, or are you still going with 10?
I'm still going with 10. I mean, they've got a couple of hard games coming up. Every time you write Arsenal off, you think it's going to be the end of a manager, they usually come up with a couple of good performances. And that's probably what Arsenal would do again. And it gets everybody hanging on, the Arsenal supporters. And, well, maybe this is the turning point. And then 3 weeks down the road, they perform badly again and everybody wants Arteta out. I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure very early on in the season. About 10 games, I would give him.
So it's only fashion advice that Robbo takes from Frank, then? Not football advice.
Yeah, from Frank Leboeuf.
That's true.
All right.
Shaka, you're right.
Barca fanatic, Shaka, is Brentford getting a spot in your power rankings in place of Rangers?
I heard Don advocated for Rangers, oddly advocated for Rangers after they got knocked out from Malmo,
Yep.
but I don't know how Don drew that parallel. But I don't normally do the first season's power rankings till 3 or 4 weeks in. If they keep it up, I'm going to put them in just because. If they somehow are still in the top 3 after 3 or 4 games, Brentford are in.
Maybe their only chance to put them in now, though.
Yeah, but not everybody's starting this weekend. I normally wait 3 or 4 games.
You're not giving
before
out
the first
participation
one.
medals then in the power rankings?
Well, if they participate well enough for 3 or 4 weeks, they'll be in.
All right, fair enough. Frank Leboeuf asks Frank Leboeuf, Frank, does having numerous foreign players of the same nationality at one club improve a team's performance? Will PSG have better chemistry with 4 Argentine players and an Argentine manager?
I would think yes. I think we saw the experience of players in being from the Netherlands and playing for Barcelona many times, and it worked. And I remember also the three Dutch playing for AC Milan, and it worked. So I guess, I remember Chelsea being with Zola, Di Matteo, Vialli, Casiraghi, and some others, and it worked. So I guess it can be a plus. It can be a plus, yeah. And you have more Argentine than we have French players for Paris Saint-Germain, that's for sure.
All right,
it can work.
This one keeps...
Frank, you missed Frank, you missed Arsenal out there when Thierry Henry, Emmanuel Petit,
Exactly.
Vieira,
Good point.
Grimondi. There we are. There's another team that had lots of players and they did well.
Look at Stu trying to put a positive spin
and
on Arsenal.
forgive me, be that.
Those were the days, Robbo.
And you should have come in as the centre half.
That's the best example.
You're going to be invited back
I
to
don't know. Arsene
Highbury
Wenger maybe didn't like me. Maybe he didn't like me. Well, you had good defenders. So
Well, he didn't like me, that's for sure.
Right, this is one that keeps doing the rounds and it keeps coming back, but it is a very good question, so I'm going to come to all of you on it. And I'll start with you, Shaka. It's the 85th minute of the Champions League final and the score is tied. PSG wins a penalty kick. Who would you select to take it? And don't forget, they've got Sergio Ramos in the team as well.
I got this.
Right?
So I'm going to defer. I'm going to wait till last.
All right.
Because I've
You
already
did get
answered
it,
this.
But I've had this like twice now since I've been on with you, I think. All right. Robbo, who's taking the penalty kick for you? Neymar, Mbappe, Messi, Ramos?
I would have gone with Ramos, but unfortunately I commentated on a game that Spain played not so long ago where he missed 2 penalties in the same game. So he's out the equation now. And I'm going to go, I know he's not the best penalty taker, he's missed penalties. I would have to go with Messi. He's got the composure, he's got the skill. It has to be Messi.
All right. Frank, what about you?
Well, I'm going to surprise everybody, especially the Neymar fans, but I'm going to go for Neymar. Neymar is maybe the best penalty taker I ever seen. He's really cool.
Very nice.
I don't know if he missed one, maybe one or two, but Neymar for sure.
All right. Barca fanatic back in and says, Frank, who was the best midfielder last season? Conte or Jorginho?
First, I think you forgot to ask Shaka, who was the penalty
yeah, sorry,
taker.
I did.
Oh, yeah,
Say again.
I went with Sergio Ramos.
You went with Ramos.
I went with Sergio Ramos. I just feel he has been reliable. Never mind what only Robbo can say. Well, I saw Sergio Ramos miss 2 penalties, but I'm going to pick Lionel Messi, even though I saw him miss penalties. Only Robbo can somehow confuse me like that. But Sergio Ramos still gets my
I like to challenge you, Shaka. I like to challenge you.
Well, you did that.
Well, Frank, thanks for reminding me of that. Let me now remind you of your question. Best midfielder last season between these two?
I will go for Kante. I mean, the end of the season of that guy has been absolutely tremendous, and because of him, I think Chelsea won the Champions League. And I think people might think about Jorginho because Jorginho won the Euro, won the Champions League, and just won the Super Cup. So in terms of trophy, he has one more than Kante. But really, Kante has been absolutely crucial to the Chelsea win.
So let's get you on that as well, Robbo. Who would you say was the best midfielder between these two last season?
I don't think you need to even sort of contemplate who I'm going to say. Conte, for me, is a magnificent player. I did that game, the 2 Chelsea games against Real Madrid. He was head and shoulders above everybody else on the field. Frank's absolutely right. He won games for Chelsea. He almost acted as 2 players at times. Not only did he win balls back, he made interceptions, he went back in between his centre-halves, but he also broke forward and got away from Real Madrid's ageing midfield players. There's only one player for me, Conte.
Sounded like a little pun there. Contemplate. Contemplate.
I have no idea what to say.
I'm not that clever, Kate.
I think you are.
Well done.
Didn't N'Golo Kante win Player of the Match in both semi-finals and the final of the Champions League? I think I'm right in saying.
Yes.
I mean, who was
It doesn't get any
top
better than
scorer
that.
for their side as well, Shaka?
How many of them were from penalty? Tony Petty's
Top
fault.
scorer is top scorer. Is
I'm
that what
just-
people look
I-
at? Is
I'm
that what
just
you look
asking.
at at the end of the season?
I'm asking you how many were
You
from
sound like a
Petty's fault?
hater.
No, I'm not at all. I'm not a hater at all. I'm just asking.
Sounds like anti-Italian sentiments
They were
here
all.
at Extra Time
I'm just
today.
told they were all penalties. They were all penalties.
All right. Still top scorer though. Anyway, it's been great to have your questions. Thanks so much for sending them in. We thank Shaka, Frank, and Robbo. Don't forget, ESPN FC and Extra Time available daily on ESPN Plus.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.